Good evening. Go ahead and call this meeting to order of the Plymouth Community School Board. Please rise for pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item this evening is to elect a president of the board. So at this point, I'll entertain nominations.
I nominate, go ahead, I'll second. I second that.
There's a motion and a second for that nomination.
I make a motion that nominations be closed.
I'll second.
All right, we have another motion and a second to close nominations. On that motion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to close nominations. We have a single nomination. Any discussion on that? All right. So then all those in favor of Todd Samuelson being president?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Yay.
This slide is over.
Now, get to work.
Good work. Motion to adjourn. Happy New Year, everybody. 1.3, we need to elect a board vice president, so open nominations.
Nominate Larry Holloway.
I second.
Any other nominations?
I move to close nominations.
Second.
We have motion second to close nominations. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Larry Holloway has been nominated. All those in favor of Larry for vice president, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations. 1.4, open nominations for board secretary.
I nominate Melissa Christensen.
I second.
There are other nominations.
Nomination be closed.
Second that.
All in favor of nominations being closed, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nominations are closed. We have Melissa nominated for board secretary. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So then we'll set the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections?
We just had a couple of additions. There were a couple of resignations that came in here in the last couple of days, as well as some last-minute non-resident student applications since we started the semester, so those have been added. Other than that, no.
With those additions, I entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. 1.6, audience participation. All three of you. That makes it audience. Two will not be audience. Any items you want to speak to? Okay. We'll move to the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda board member would like to pull out to be considered individually? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to accept the consent agenda. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, on to business transactions. 3.1, conflict of interest disclosure statements.
This is an annual business item that comes before the board, where we recommend that they accept those conflict of interest disclosures.
Make a motion to accept those.
Second.
That motion is second to accept the, conflict of interest disclosure statements. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3.2, copies of extracurricular financial reports.
Yes, evidently, Indiana Code 20-41-1-8 states.
Which one?
20-41-1-8.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah. Anyway, it states that we are to be reporting to you twice a year because we have schools that have 2 semesters. So we generally have always reported to you their end-of-year financial reports in July or August. But we are going to begin doing the reports to you, which are a new gift for the extracurricular accounts twice a year. And this is the time when we'll be doing it, January.
Okay. The minutes will show those have been received. Thank you. 3.3, consider resolution 2018-2 to void checks.
Yes, I have listed individually all of the checks on this resolution, and it amounts to a total of $155.25. As you can see, most of those are from student lunch accounts. I have verified that every single person was sent an affidavit for saying, hey, we've sent you a check, you have not cashed it, and we have not heard back from any of these people. So, as allowed, permissible by another Indiana code, we would like to void these checks and place them back into the account.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.4, consider revisions to classified conditions of employment.
Yeah, this document just reflects a couple of changes that are occurring within classified staff conditions. We've had a couple of resignations in a couple of departments, and so in order to be more efficient, we are either removing a position and/or consolidating into a new titled position. So it reflects that, as well as just a few other typographical errors. So it's presented to you this evening for your consideration.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second to accept the revisions to classified conditions of employment. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. 3.5, permission to advertise for fuel bids.
We're going to place bids for fuel again this year. A couple years ago we didn't. Last year we did. We'll do it again this year. So those documents are before you this evening for your approval. I also have Mrs. Usini here as our new transportation director this year to answer any questions you may have on it.
Any idea how much we save?
It's always a gamble, whether you play the market or not. I would say that right now the trends are in the market, the prices are probably going to start to climb or are a little bit, and so we think that by the time we actually take the bids and accept them, we'll be at a good place, but it's the right time to do that. To be able to quantify that, I mean, I can analyze it month by
Where's your
month.
crystal ball?
And so it's all right here.
Well, they're predicting that prices are going up.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the
Now's
market
the time to
trends,
lock
you're
them
going
in.
to see that, so.
Yeah, actually, they've
Well, the
gone
providers do that
down.
too, right? So,
Right. Tracking it in the last couple of days even, they've gone down a little bit, so.
All right.
so do we expect to get bids then with prices? I mean, I'm hearing $3 a gallon. I mean, that's not peaceful. Yep.
Yeah.
Hoping.
There was some, I forget the time frame, we couldn't even get bids.
Yeah, everything will be okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You need a motion to that
Please.
effect? So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other questions? Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Good luck on your bids.
Thank you.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. 3.6, new and revised policy, second reading.
Yeah, this is a second reading. Again, these policies are surrounding background checks, reporting of child abuse and neglect, suicide prevention, all things that reflect updates to statute from last legislative session. So again, second reading, and you can entertain questions, otherwise they are before you tonight for your approval.
Here's the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. 3.7, project update.
So after tonight, updates will probably become a bit more, you'll see a bit more information come forth. I will say in the design process, we needed to extend that a little bit by a couple of weeks. It's not going to change the timeline of hopefully being able to begin construction. We just want to make sure that those construction documents are as detailed as possible, and felt like we needed people to be able to do that. I did have, just reviewing, in case we've forgotten, just see a schematic layout of the site again. Things are looking really good in that regard. And then my hope is at our February meeting, we'll have Brian here from Barton Code to go through the renderings and see all those things prior to the March meeting, where we will look at improved construction documents and formalize the bidding process. It will require our April meeting, which would have been moved a week anyway because of spring break, to move one more week to the 17th to consolidate all those things. And hopefully be able to award the bids at that point in time, and construction will be on time with this summer. So the site layout again looks pretty solid. A major intent with that was to get traffic off the streets with drop off and pickup. So that will flow through off of in front of the old Lincoln, if you will, and kind of run through a lane and drop off there on the west side, and bus parking will be in the back. Renderings are going to look good. I think the whole surrounding building will look nice for the neighborhood. Some green space there still for practices and gym and outdoor activities as well. See where we purchased there on the east side too. We purchased the building there, and that will be removed, and staff parking and driving there for staff parking will be present. So again, things are progressing. We have some meetings here coming up that will help finalize a lot of the systems parts, so the electrical and mechanical, iron out a few more details on the site, as well as technology. Working with the teachers as well and getting their input on classroom designs and going through a couple of rounds of that. We're all pretty excited about what's coming. So.
Good. Any questions? Very good, thank you. You're still on. We'll move to section 4 for superintendent reports.
Well, with respect to commitment to students, freshman orientation is next Wednesday. Hard to believe, but here we are, and the school year is moving quickly. We're excited about that. And the high school's really been working hard to sort of redesign that structure just to ensure that we're meeting students' needs and parents' needs when it comes to beginning that transition process from junior high to high school. And, you know, a lot comes back to the kids when they're hitting high school, and we want to make sure we're setting them up for success there. Caring, I think I mentioned this last year as well, but now that the holiday season's passed, I always like to acknowledge those who go above and beyond in trying to meet students' and families' needs during the holiday season. We had a lot of student groups do that this year. We had a lot of staff groups do that as well, including this building. For the second year in a row, they adopt a family and help support them during this time. And it's just proud to have our folks do that sort of thing. With respect to high expectations, school starts tomorrow for kids, and so we've had a cold but hopefully a restful holiday break, and kids are going to be back at it tomorrow. So excited for that. Teamwork, I wanted to acknowledge this month as well. We have a small group of some of our advanced marketing students who have been producing some videos. I don't know if you've seen those, but they help highlight some of the sponsors that we've had with respect to the football stadium or other events, and the production of those continue. And it's nice to have the students involved in that and partnering with our community members as well. I know that the businesses have enjoyed taking part in it too. They're also working on a page within our website that starts to highlight some of the media coverage, the positive media coverage that we've had, the local and regional area, and so we'll get that linked to you in the next week. You can take a look to see what they've done so far and follow along those things if you're interested. So, tied to caring, but also integrity, our bus drivers went out on a limb this year and wanted to do a food drive in December, and I saw the coverage of that, but to highlight it here, especially with Brenda present, just really proud of them for what they did and volunteering their time to be able to do that and to give back to the community. I think was a wonderful thing. So appreciate that. I'll highlight Brenda as well. She's in her first half a year as director and done an excellent job thus far. And really appreciate her efforts and it's a challenging position. So. And by way of enjoyment, actually happened right before our last meeting, but we were happy to welcome Dr. McCormick here. She wanted to highlight some computer science, computer programming, so some of her connections in her staff with Bruce, who helped coordinate that day. She was here and had a lot of fun with our Girls Who Code Club and was able to observe some classrooms during that nationwide event of an hour of code. And so computer science is certainly at the forefront of I think what we'll see coming, and we are doing a lot in that area already. So I think see more highlights in that program, if you will. Next meeting, after our Board of Finance meeting, which immediately follows, is February 6th. I am asking for an executive session to begin at 6:30 that evening. And then the board meeting will follow at 7 o'clock.
Good. Any questions for you? Thank you, sir. Go back to the audience one more time if you're inspired by any of that. If you have any questions or comments. Thank you for being here. As Andy mentioned, we have Board of Finance immediately following this next motion, so don't get up. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Somebody give me a second.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.